together. Yes, we know this is supposed to be the preview for the 8th and final race at the ABSA Off-Road Championship. So, why pictures of the Tarleton Raceway? Well, that's because a brand new event, the RFS Magalies 400, starts and finishes here to conclude the 2008 season.
Well, you know, they approached me and they said, well, can I use the facilities at Tarleton? I said, yes. We haven't run motocross, I think, for the last 5 or 6 years. We haven't had the off-road series, you know, after I had the off-road series, well, I can't even remember what they used to call it, but yeah, he had a couple of cars and a couple of buckies here, and I think I'll think about his name now, but I can't remember all the names. But we had a lot of people here, and then they asked us if they can use the facility. I said, well, it's a bit in a bad condition. Let's fix it up, and we're busy doing that, and I think we're looking forward to this new event. It's a new event for us. I'm looking really forward to the event before the end of November, and I think we want to give the people in this area, they haven't seen this type of racing in this area for a long time, and well, I don't think they've ever seen this off-road story, you know, this type of racing here, and I think we're going to do something special here. I think the first event is going to be, they're going to try some cars on the drag strip and see how they perform. And we'll open this thing, the event, with 2 of our dragsters or funny cars, whatever is available.
But it's not just about the funny cars at the drag strip. The Magaliesberg Surrounds presents a wonderful challenge for the off-roaders. New terra firma, big mountains, and some fine terrain to negotiate.
It's a fantastic area to be racing in. We've had a lot of support from the local farmers here. A lot of it is fairly flat for this year, which is quite nice. It makes a bit of a difference to some of the races. The coming in section, we're looking at a couple of mountains that we've got to go over. But on a whole, it's looking like quite a fast event for this year.
Now, it's a very huge undertaking. Other than the Botswana Desert 1000 race, which you guys also organize, how is that different to that out here in the Magaliesberg?
A lot of this logistics this year is involving speaking to a lot of the farmers to get permission. It's a lot of new people that are getting involved with motorsport, which is fantastic. Speaking to the local authorities, the police, the traffic department to get the relevant permissions. And then obviously speaking to guys like Mick van Rensburg here at Tarleton, where we can actually host the event or put the pit area into this side of town.
There are some interesting developments that come with this. The off-roaders can try their hand at being really quick over the quarter mile at the Tarleton Raceway.
Very exciting for the Friday. Just before we actually start the prologue, we're going to set the cars off here 2 at a time down the drag strip. Mick van Rensburg is going to put the lights up, going to give the guys official times, and of course we've got prize money for the first guys in the fastest guys in their class.
How spectator-friendly is the area? Can off-road fans get to all the action? And is it conducive to travelling to other parts of the course?
Yeah, in the pit area we've got a nice section around the old motocross track here at Tarleton. And then the guys off down the railway line for 3Ks and then back down the other side of the railway line. So right here at Tarleton we've got a lot of spectator value. Out in the route we've got approximately 8 spectator points.
The new sponsor, RFS, is a retirement solutions company and have dabbled in sponsorship in motorsport for a while, most notably with the RFS Econo Run for motorbikes. And after testing the waters a few times, have decided to put their name to an event which attracts a massive amount of interest and media support. It is, after all, the last event of the 2008 season, and a lot of scores still have to be settled.
The abbreviation stands for Retirement Fund Solutions, and we are a service provider for financial issues for the pension fund industry as such. We specialize in pension fund administration as such, and we've got offices, our main office, our head office is in Pretoria, then we've got offices in Durban and Johannesburg and Cape Town, and we approximately cater for 110,000 members of different funds, of which the road freight industry is our biggest client, and they're very close related to motorsport. I think not that the lorry drivers are driving fast, but that's the guys that we are catering for.
Why the interest in motorsport? Is there a parallel between retirement funds and fast-turning wheels?
That's an interesting question. I think if you look at the motorsport as a whole, there's a lot of engineering in it. And what I'm always saying is that pension fund is also, if a fund is not engineered well, you can't supply the members with the need that they need. And as such, I think there's a close correlation between pension fund industry and motorsport as a whole in the engineering of a fund for the members of such a fund, yeah.
And it's certainly great to have a new and innovative partner on board. As for the racing, the overall championship is poised to be decided in the final race of the year. Why? Well, there are only 4 points that cover the top 3 contenders, and it's all come down to this: the last 400 kilometers of racing in the last race of the season. It's Neil Woolridge and Kenny Scholthammer in the Ford, Hannes Grobler and Johan Moore in the one Nissan, and defending champions Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford in the other. See what we mean? It's tight at the top. For the Pietermaritzburg-based Ford Ranger team, it's been a consistent effort spaced out over the whole season. The 2 former champs, Woolridge and Scholthammer, have not had any wins, but they've got it to the line every time and never worse than third in a fine 2008.
We're very happy. Neil and I have discussed it at length, and we're very happy with the way it's gone. The team has worked well. The guys, we've developed a lot. We've improved the car a lot since last year. We've got a lot more speed out of it, and the reliability, we finished 7 out of 7. All 7 on the podium, which is fantastic. And yeah, we're very happy, and Ford's very happy with it.
You've not had any wins. Is that a little bit of a drawback for you, not having won?
Well, we've been a bit stiff as well. You know, we have been in a position to win a few of these races. Unfortunately, we've had a misfire at 1 or 2, but the rest of the time the car's been faultless, so it's really, really been good. And credit to the guys that prepare the car. They're doing a fantastic job for us, you know.
There are only a few points up there that cover the top 3, so there's not a heck of a lot of breathing space. It's really tight. Tell us about that.
Yeah, look, we're looking forward to the last race. Obviously, like we said, it's very close, which is the way a championship should be. We would like all the races to count, and then the real reliability of Rally Raid would come through, but it's not that way this year, so we're looking forward to it. We're going to attack, obviously, and the guys are going to have to work hard to beat us, you know, so we're really, really looking forward to the last race.
The Ford team have been perennial contenders, and this year could just be the year that they pull off a huge victory over the 7-time national championship giants, Nissan. Talking about the Midrand-based off-road dominators, they've clinched 7 successive drivers and co-drivers championships and 6 manufacturers' crowns since 2001, which marked their return to the sport. To top that, they've won 6 of the 7 rounds of the 08 championship, taking their winning tally to a massive 50 victories in 63 races. That's intimidating.
The success of Nissan depends on the way they're running the whole show. You know, they're very professional from preparing the cars, the technicians, the engineers, the management, everybody, and then also the driver, the team, the driver, navigator. They must be very professional, and I think they're running it for the last few years. They're running it as a very professional team. And I think that's why they're also successful overseas and why they're selling that many cars to the overseas competitors.
The 4-time national champion has not exactly had a perfect season. He's had 1 or 2 niggles, and the Sasol Nissan Navara did let them down once or twice.
Yeah, I think we had some unnecessary problems with the car in the beginning of the year. But as I said, yeah, the guys are very professional. They pull their act together. They got the vehicle sorted out, and yeah, we kept to be positive, you know, and from the desert race on, you know, I said, yeah, we had to win the last 4 races to be in line to win the championship, you know, and we've done 75% of it till now, you know, so it's going down to the last one now.
It is indeed, Hannes. It's brass monkey time, and there's not a heck of a lot of space left up there for any mistakes. It's been very competitive in the year 2008.
Yeah, I think it's very, very good for the sport, you know, for off-roads and special, you know, and I think it's going to go down very dramatic to the last event, probably like the Grand Prix last weekend. And but as I say, it's good for the sport. Duncan is a good driver, Neil is a very good driver, and off-road goes about tactics and endurance, you know, and that's what it's going down to this year, you know, and I think there's a lot of other young guys that's coming through now, and I'm very, very glad, you know.
Is there more pressure this season because your stablemate Force is right there as well as the Ford Dio? Does that make it tougher for you and Juan in the co-driver's seat?
I don't think it's more than normal, but it puts a little bit more pressure on you to win it, you know. All three of us knows that it's all going to depend on the last one, you know, and motorsport can be cruel, you know. You can have a slight mishap or something like that, and you just fall out, or you're not reaching to the number you want to end to win the championship, you know. But yeah, I don't even want to think about it, you know. We'll just play it off the cuff when we get there, and we play it as the day comes.
And no one does that better than the burly man from Tshwane. Look out for a lot of this. Nissan and Ford harrying and surging, trying to outfox each other in the cradle of mankind. And there's no room for error whatsoever. Then, of course, no one should discount the defending champion Duncan Vos, who started off the season well, but has had one or two technical problems hampering his progress in the last part of the season. Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin in their Castrol Toyota Hilux have led the charge for the Japanese manufacturer, but after their lone win at the Eastern Cape 500, have not again produced highs such as that. Newcomer track star Anthony Taylor with co-driver Robin Houghton has slotted in like he's always driven an off-road car, and Houghton believes the new SP category has diversified off-road racing and raised the competitive bar.
Well, the SP class, I think it's a phenomenal class. It's raised the whole level of the sport. You know, where else do you get in your premier class? Are there more than 10 competitors? And, you know, knowing a lot of the privateer competitors in the class, which is, you know, at this stage very much dominated by the Toyotas in the privateer side of it. But there are Fords coming more, and there's Nissans coming. So, you know, I actually think you're eventually going to get to almost a two-tier type scenario where you've got your works cars, and the works cars are always going to be going flat out for the win. But even amongst the privateer competitors, there's some really stiff competition, and I think such as the diversity in the class that no matter who you are and what level you are, there's going to be someone to compete with and to judge yourself against. So, you know, I really see it as the way forward. You know, obviously it's not the cheapest car, I think, initially to purchase, but from a maintenance point of view, I don't think they're too bad in comparison to some of the other classes. And, you know, eventually, I think next year, maybe even 20 cars in the top class. So, you know, then it's really anyone's race. In the old days, if you had a bad prologue or something, you'd be 4th or 5th. Now you're going to be 20th. So, you know, there's a lot to play for. You've got to take that into account with your strategy as well. You can't just go flat out all the time. You've got to look at all these guys, and a lot of the privateers. I look at Hugo de Bruin, Chris Fitter, guys like that. They're extremely fast. Their cars are reliable, and they're picking up the thirds, the seconds, and things like that. So we've got our work cut out for us. You know, it's not as easy as it maybe in the past used to be, just to go and snatch a quick victory or even get a podium position. Nowadays, I think if you get on the podium, you've done bloody well.
Grenier and Birkin will have their eyes firmly set on a victory. They'll be trying to clinch the manufacturer's trophy for Toyota, where they have a 42-point lead over Nissan. Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst have also performed admirably. This year has been a learning curve for them, and they will be a force to be reckoned with in 2009. Hiku and Jaap de Bruin in the Mecca and Excel dealer team Toyota are 6th on the overall championship title chase, and they've been reliable in the last 3 races. Kobus van Tonde in the Unifreight Ford Ranger has finished all the races bar their DNF at Sun City, and they've learnt a massive amount in the last 10 months. While Norwegian mountaineer Ivar Tollefsen and his British co-driver Quinn Evans have been plagued by just plain bad luck. If it wasn't a mechanical, it ended up being other commitments, so their championship chase was severely curtailed. In 9th place on the SP log, it's the husband and wife team of George and Sharon Barkhuizen in their Rurocon Toyota, who've improved dramatically in their SP class car as the season has worn on. With the IDM Cement Toyota of Jaco Swanepoel and Keith Solomon 10th and ready to do some giant killing in the Magaliesburg area. And in 11th place on the log, Mark Ferguson and Craig West in the 3rd Ford will not be lining up in the Magalies. In the SP class battle, it's equally tight. Here, though, due to the vagaries of the point system, Krobler and Moore lead Woolwich and Scholthammer by just 2 points, with Foss and Pitchford one further back. Do we need to spill it up? There's a big battle ahead. In Class D, Henry and Maurice Matten have perfected brotherly love and cooperation and are firmly set to take the silverware home. They lead by 35 points and are, for all intents and purposes, home and dry, but they'll be looking for win number 5 to top a great season. Kwitsiela Laskachny and Johan Gerber in the Raysonics Nissan are second, but will want to hold on to it for dear life, as the chasers, Ramon and Moret Besaidnout in their Barberspon Toyota, are just 7 points adrift and will be applying the pressure like never before. The defending champion Cliff Weichelt is fourth, but has not seen the finish line often enough in 2008. Christian de Ploy and Henk Janssen van Vieren will certainly want to fly the sponsor RFS's flag high in the cradle of mankind, and after 2 DNFs of the last 2 races, will want to get their Toyota there in one piece. And in Class E, Jannie Visser and Joks Leroux clinched 3 early season wins, and since then, they've been defending. They have 21 points of breathing space, and effectively, they are already the champions. But they will be chased by rookies Dewald van Breda and Johan de Toy, who won in the Pilansberg and have been coming on strong lately. And third, it's the Ford Diesel Ranger of Jack Peckham and Lucio Santoro, who handsomely won the Toyota Dealer Class E title, but they will not be lining up. In the manufacturer's title chase, it's Toyota who will be hoping for more of the same. Great support from their privateers for the factory teams, while Nissan will be holding thumbs for a clean sweep up at the top.
Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA. Going the extra mile. Finance from ABSA. Going off the beaten track to find solutions.
Our preview of the 8th and final race of the 08 ABSA Off-Road Championship, the RFS Magalies 400, continues. And in the special vehicle class, the battle for the national crown is far from over. There are 3 contenders within 24 points of each other, and the 3-horse race between Kali Solwat, Shamir Variawa and Terence Marsh will be one of spectacular proportions. Parabora's Kali and son Quentin Solwat have been steady, with 1 win in the Eastern Cape and a finish in every one of the 7 races thus far. The new Solwat Racing Bat has performed exceptionally well under all the conditions the team have thrown at it, and its reliability has been the factor that has set it apart from the other teams. But the 14-point lead they have is a slender one. Remember that a win is worth 25, and the Solwats still have to drop 1 result from their points tally, so the same dilemma that the Ford Camp have in the SP battle. Total Motorsport Shamir Variawa and his nav Siegfried Rousseau produced victories in the desert in Botswana over 1,000 Ks and followed that with another win at Sun City, so they're on a high and have lots of confidence. They drop a non-finish in Leidenburg, so they lose no points, but will need a win in the mountains of the Magaliesberg to put the pressure on the Solwats. And make no mistake, that's what they're planning. As for the 2005 champion, Terence Marsh, well, he and co-driver Peter Groenewald have to pull out all the stops. They need a full house of points to add to their 81 points when they beat the Solwats by 1. If the father and son don't score any points at all, you certainly need a calculator to work out all the permutations. After all, 400 kilometers at the end of a long season can very quickly turn into a long nightmare. It's a mouth-watering prospect, and one that fans of the special vehicle category will relish. That's relish it with mud and all. There's a second father and son combination right up there. Nick and Ryan Harper are 4th in their big turquoise Atlas Compco bat. But after starting off with some racing-stopping car troubles, they've quietly whittled themselves into getting to the finish line. They've got 4 of those in a row now, and should be eyeing a win, especially due to the fact that they are debuting their all-new Spec 4 bat at the RFS Magalies 400.
It's been on the cards for a long time. It's just that being involved with bat racing and customers wanting cars, we obviously have to look after the customers first. So I kept getting pushed to the back of the queue. But we've sold the other bat Spec 2 to Gary Gillingham, and he's going to be racing it in the next race, and we have to finish this car now, so we're committed.
There's some pressure there. Now, tell us a little more about the new Atlas Copco bat, Nick. It's the 4th edition of the so-called space frame cars.
Yeah, look at the Spec 4. It was launched at the beginning of this year. You know, the first car going to Mike Whitehouse. A few teething problems with that, but that's all been sorted out. And the second car going to Cully Silwilt, who's currently leading the championship. Both drivers have done exceptionally well in the Spec 4, and that just shows you that it's going to be a terrific car, you know?
Taking this car out of the box, so to speak, for the first time at the end of the season, is that the ideal scenario or not really?
Now, look, we're going to go flat out to win the championship next season. So racing it in a national sort of this season is good for the car. It'll help us with the setup. As you know, it takes a while to set up the suspension, so we want to still learn something this year before we go and launch it in the first race of next year. So it's really to help set the car up. Point standing, you know, we're lying 4th in the championship. You know, as long as we finish up there, we should maintain position, hopefully try and improve it. You know?
Nick, here's an interesting question. It's the Spec 4. Now, what makes the Spec 4 model so much better than the previous editions? How much can it really be improved?
Look, it's over a period of 5 years, so, you know, products change. The components that go on the car get better and better. You know, most of these components are imported from America, and also the local racing has changed. So we try and develop a car that changes with the local racing. And you know, when the Spec Naught was launched, that was a very good car at its time. It won its championship that year. In fact, each car that has been launched from Spec 0 to Spec 4 or Spec to Spec 3 has won the championship the year it was launched. And let's hope Cully Silwilt does the job now. But you know, this changes every year, and you can't, if you just keep making the same car, you're not going anywhere. So we've been trying to improve each year, and I think you can see bat racing has stayed at the top of the board, so it's definitely working what we're doing, you know.
What are the technical differences? How is the Spec 4 that much different to the previous models, and how does it affect things out there?
Narrowing of the track. You know, a lot of the races are run on middle Manaki roads. We see the SP vehicle, which is a commercial vehicle, going very fast on those roads, and that's definitely narrower than these special vehicles. So we've narrowed the track. We've increased the length of the rear arm to give the car more traction. These cars are running very big horsepower, and you know, in the past we've been battling, as we went bigger on the engines, we've been battling to get traction, so that seems to have improved that. This specific model has got even better stuff on it. You know, we've got the Albin's pneumatic gear shift changer on it. That enables it. You still can change the gear with your arm, but you know, we now got gear change from the steering wheel, so you know, all of that will hopefully pick up times.
And pick up time is what it's all about, and picking it up faster than the rest. Nick's stablemate Gary Bertolt has had 2 wins and very little else, but that's exactly what makes this prologue specialist and his navigator Andre Vermeulen such a big danger out there for all of the other teams. Regent Racing have a second top 5 contender in the lineup. Michael Whitehouse and Matthew Carson lying 6th in the championship and will be competitive over the mountainous terrain in the Magaliesburg region. And then don't forget the outgoing special champ, Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman. The motorized pairing have a few scores to settle and will want to end off the season on a high note after starting it off with a burnt-out car in the Western Cape. Matthews and Smith are 7th on the National Special Vehicle Championship log, and it certainly proved that they belong in this type of esteemed company. A team such as this could very well snatch a win from more fancy teams and upset the best laid plans. Herman Silwalt and Paul Helberg and the new Silwalt Racing Zarko Magnum have a lot to prove, and will also love to pressurize the top teams ahead of them on the log. With a new route in the offing, that is very possible. Loader Brain and Rudy Brits lead Class B, and they'll feel the pressure. All they have to do is get it to the finish line in one piece. Gil Nel and Dion de Kock are second in Class B, and the title chase is on. And in Class B, it's the brothers Besaidnout, Johan and Etienne, who lead by exactly 10 points. They'll want to make a splash and win the national title outright. But the two Dons, Thompson and Blakey, will need to produce a win to clinch the points needed to overtake them on the log before they can pop open the bubbly. The dices are loaded, the plans have been made. Now it's up to the weather, lady luck, and a great big dollop of courage as the Sawwats try to hold off the Total Motorsport pairing, as well as Marsh and Groenewald, a motor racing treat of note. The prologue gets underway with a quarter-mile sprint, and then they hit the road for the time trial. On Saturday, it's G for go at 8:30, and a week later we'll bring you all the racing. Until then, you keep it on the road, we'll keep it off-road.
That was